So there was this moment I wanted to quit, and I asked a question to life, so not to myself. And this is how Visible Transitions was born 11 years ago too, because I asked a question. This time my question was, what is option 3? What is option 3? And I imagined it in a bubble, and it just floated into life. And I stayed unattached to what the answer was or when it was coming. And asking that question in and of itself, just like taking the picture, asking that question, what is option 3, that put me into a zero resistant state. There you go. Can't get any better than that.
Yeah. Wow. So I want to go back to, so you were talking about kind of one of the impacts. This is a little kind of a sidebar, and we'll come back, I promise. But I remember the first time you and I met, and I'm aware in this conversation, I thought it was longer. I feel like I've known you longer, but it's not that long ago, because it had to be post-pandemic when we were on a Zoom call with this local conscious capitalism group.
It was probably like last summer or fall, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really not that long ago. And I think your story obviously is very compelling. And most people are only listening to the audio, but we're going to use a clip of this video here to kind of share a little bit of a lesson, if you will, because you're sitting here looking all Hollywood, right? You got your sunglasses on and you're looking all cool and hip, right? And that's the way you were. You actually had, not only did you have your sunglasses on, but you had an entire rack of sunglasses next to you.
Yes.
when I first met you. And I so distinctly remember, and I think people will kind of relate to this. I remember seeing you, right? So I had this visual on Zoom, kind of like the work you do. It's in a frame, right? That's all I got to work with. And I noticed, like, I had like the physical, like I noticed the facts of the situation, right? Like here you were, wearing your sunglasses, you got this whole rack of sunglasses. And then I noticed myself starting to assign meaning to that. Like, this whole, there was a little part of me that was like, oh, wow, look at her. She's pretty hot stuff. This is all Hollywood, who does she think she is, kind of thing, whatever. But I also noticed, like, it was kind of balanced with curiosity. Like, I guess at my age, I've made enough bad assessments over the years where I kind of catch myself going, oh, maybe there's another story to that. And then I think we ended up in a breakout room together, and I got to know you a little bit. And it was like, oh, wow. Like, I'm so glad I remained curious, because I got to hear the real story. And I think there's something for people to really remember, like when you see something that appears to be one thing, in a lot of cases, it can turn out to be something completely different. And I think if I had stuck with that, whole, oh, Hollywood, who does she think she is? First of all, we'd never be having this conversation, because I never would have gotten to know you better and learn more about the work that you're doing and your fascinating personal story and all that. So I appreciate, like, you literally gave me such a powerful reminder of that through that whole experience. So I really appreciate it.
Oh, I have the chills, because that's what we do. We walk through life. We're meaning making machines through our 5 primary senses, and the brain makes up the narrative and the story and the meaning. And then we stop ourselves. We block and make that resistance. Like, you could have just stayed resistant to me. And instead, thank you so much for getting into that place of curiosity, that sincere curiosity. And here we are having a really important conversation about curiosity and how that can help you make excellent decisions